Hello everyone, Trophy Wine Hunter. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm trying a little bit of a different format. Instead of you seeing my face for like 13 minutes, I'm going to go through some pictures and then at the end I'll do the tasting and see. Let me know what you think in the comment section about this kind of format and whether you like it or whether I should just talk for 13 minutes with my face on the video. Or maybe a mix-up. Anyways, we're talking today about the Lopez de Heredia 2010 Vina Tondodia Reserva. And so this wine is pretty iconic. I think people love this wine and love this winery in terms of old school, traditional Rioja wines. So the wine, I will talk about a little bit in terms of, but one of the key components of this is there's a mesh around this bottle. And that was introduced actually in the 19th century by Marquis de Riscal to protect from tampering, in fact. And it added some glamour to the bottles. And so, some people have used that. It doesn't mean anything. Anyone can use that. It was founded in 1877 by Don Rafael Lopez de Heredia, and he's pictured here. Nice looking gentleman. And he picked up actually the winery here, this Vina Tondodia kind of estate, in between 1913 and 1940, but it's a huge estate. It's like 100 hectares, and it's situated on the right bank of the river, of the Ebro River, which is in Rioja Alta, which I'll show a little bit later on in another picture. The estate is kind of looks like a little town, which I'll show a little bit later on, and they have very deep cellars underground. So that they can store like 13,000 oak barrels. So it's huge in terms of their underground space. This map is taken from the Wine Scholar Guild's website, and I think it really is very nice. It shows the three subregions of Rioja: Rioja Alta, Rioja Alvesa, and then Rioja Oriental, which used to be called Rioja Baja. So the town the place that's where the vineyard is located is Haro, and we're closing up on that area, and that is where that's kind of close to Rioja, the border between Rioja Alta and Rioja Alvesa. And that's generally speaking, that area is where most of the top wineries are in Rioja. This is the bodega, which actually looks like almost like a town or a castle. It's kind of neat, compare and contrast to like the chateaus in France. But it's about 53,000 square meters in size. Only about 20 or I think about 40% of it is buildings. The rest is just underground cellars, which are 200 meters long and about 15 meters deep. The bodega is also home to 72 oak vats of various sizes. And again, my viewers and subscribers will know I'm big on this idea of them having wineries having a lot of different vats or containers to store or ferment wines. I just believe that gives them the ability to do plot by plot or kind of blend differently, because if you can kind of vary out the different plots or the different type grape varietals, then you can always pick and choose which ones are in your blend or which are your best ones. These are the vats that I'm talking about. These actually in the picture are used for white wines. Lopez Heredia does something with this wine that I think most others do not, and this is probably one of the most traditional styles of Rioja you'll get. They actually age the wine in barrel for 6 years and then another 4 years in bottle. So they age it for 10 years before release. So that's why this 2010 has been just released in the last couple of years, and I haven't been holding this for like 10 years. If you recall from my introduction video on Rioja, even Gran Reserva only requires, I think, 6 years of aging. So this is well and above Gran Reserva, even though they call it a Reserva wine. I'm not sure why they don't actually call it something differently. But, really kind of extensive aging, and you're going to have extensive oak influence on this wine. Just a couple of other random notes before we start the tasting of wine. They make about 20,000 cases of this wine each year. As you look at me, look at the cork, and then I'm going to show the mesh also. They do produce other wines. Lopez de Heredia does produce other wines under different other labels, but Vino Tinto is one of their most popular products. And they also, in good years, also produce a Grand Reserva wine, but that wine is aged 10 years in oak barrels. So the blend of this wine is 70% Tempranillo, 20% Grenache, and then 10% Graciano and Mazuelo, which is fairly kind of traditional mix of wine. So this really is going to be your most traditional type of Rioja. So if you like this wine, you're going to like traditionally produced Rioja, like old school Rioja. If you don't like this wine, that doesn't mean you don't like Rioja. That might mean you have to kind of focus on some modern style of Riojas. Let's taste the wine. And I will let you know that I had this open overnight. I did have it with dinner. And as normal, I will normally taste a wine a couple of times just to kind of make sure that I have good notes on the wine. So again, this should be well aired by now. It's probably a little bit chilled from the freezer. So I love the, first I want to comment about the label. I love the label. I love the look of this wine. I also love that on the back it's got all the information that you need about the wine. Vino Tinto Reserva 2010. It's got the blend, 70% Tempranillo, 20% Grenache, 10% Graciano and Mazuelo, all from the own vineyards. It's aged 6 years in American oak. It's the rest of the aging is in bottle. And you know, it gives you the serving temperature and ready to be enjoyed and can be cellared for at least another 10 years. So I just like the simplicity of the label and just the understanding that it gives to consumers. So let's go through this wine. On the smell, you get a kind of a floral and a red fruit flavor, aroma to it. And I'm just comparing because we've done a lot of stuff on Barolo and other stuff. So it's does have that flowery smell of Barolo, but Barolo normally has more black fruit and a little bit of tar and smokiness on the aroma. It also has a little bit more spice, like herbs, compared to what I would call this is more spice. And then this one has a lot more oak influence than I would typically get on other types of wines. So I'm just trying to compare and contrast in my own words what the difference is between Tempranillo and other grapes. With Cabernet Sauvignon, again, it's going to be black fruit. It doesn't smell like Merlot because Merlot does have red fruit, but a little bit more chocolatey. Doesn't have that this type of spiciness and floweriness. Merlot and Pinot Noir is a little bit more fragrant, if I can tell, is sweet flowers, and this is more like a savory flower. It's on the taste, again, lots of red fruit. I get maybe raspberries and cherries, but not the same type of tartness that you get with Burgundy and Pinot Noir. And then at the end, you get a little bit of that spiciness, and the vanilla and oak comes through on this wine. It's a lot cleaner in terms of its aftertaste than, let's say, Barolo. Barolo is earthy to me. This is not as earthy. It's more a little bit stony or chalky, but you do get that aftertaste of oak and vanilla. I get a lot of that on this type of wine. So it'd be interesting for me to drink newer Rioja wines, but to me, the tannins are kind of medium right now. It's not heavy either. I would say it's not light bodied, but I say medium plus body. Acidity is medium to medium plus, so it's not an overly difficult wine to enjoy, but I like the acidity. I think it will go really well with food. But I think this is drinking beautifully, and I guess it's because it's a 2010. It's aged 14 years, and it's really drinking magnificently. I will have the wine inspector rating on this, but I quite like this wine. I'm going to give it 92 points, and I think it's drinking well today. Probably could last another 5 years easily, but I don't think there's any real reason to wait. I didn't decant this wine, so I think it's really ready to go and just drinking beautifully. I could see this with any type of Mediterranean fish, tapas, cheese plate, charcuterie plate. I don't think I'd go too heavy on the food on this. I don't think it, like, let's say a heavy lamb dish or a heavy meat dish. I think it might swallow this wine up a little bit, but a lighter, like poultry, I like this. But it's a very Mediterranean style wine in my opinion. Like I could see it with all types of Mediterranean type cuisine. Beautiful wine and really enjoyed tasting it. Hope you've enjoyed this tasting. Until next time, happy drinking.